to start off by asking you, we saw Coach Izzo's comments yesterday. Calvin Sampson kind of echoed it, and I think Bill Self as well. You come from your dad coached, and I'm curious what you think about the current state of the sport with the G League thing, the European players coming in. I think the basketball product's great, but I'm curious your take on, have we lost sight of what is college basketball?
I only worry about the things I can control, and I can't control who gets to play. I deal with what it is daily. The thing I'm most concerned with is the kids I'm coaching, and I don't feel they've changed as people. I feel they want to be coached, they want to be disciplined, they want to be led, they want to be taught, they want an education, and as long as that's the case, then I still enjoy coaching. And even though even though they're making money, I don't think they've changed deep down who they are and what they want for themselves. They're getting rewarded financially, but the kids come to work every day and they value the same things I value. Maybe it's because I recruit the kind of kids I want. Mm-hmm. I don't know if everyone's dealing with that nationwide, but I love going to work every day because I feel the kids are valuing what I'm giving them.
You guys were picked unanimously number one. How do you obviously that's a great thing to have coming into the season, but at the same time that creates expectations. How do you maintain that, or what do you tell your team to say, guys, don't always read the press clippings, let's handle what's in front of us?
I think it's San Diego State. We're used to expectations.
Yeah.
They think I should be winning it every year, my fan base, and I'm with them. I think I should be winning it every year. That's what I try to do. So I think I don't know if there's ever been a unanimous pick to win the league.
I don't think
but
so.
I think it's because we have more recognizable names coming back. Everybody lost a lot. And so when they look, well, who's got the most coming back? It's San Diego State. And we do. So I take great pride in that. So now we have to take a team that's really good on paper and see if it's really good on the court.
Is there something you see when you see this team and say, compared to last year, maybe we're more athletic, maybe we're better rebounding, better shooting? I don't know. Is there something that you think you could pinpoint and say we're a lot better in this one area than previously?
We're older.
Yeah.
You want to be older.
Yeah.
So we are older. The freshmen that had to play last year are now sophomores. The sophomores that played are juniors. The juniors are seniors. And then guys like Reese Waters, who missed a year, is a 6-year senior. We added 5th-year seniors and 6-year seniors, and Jeremiah Oden and Sean Newman. So we're older. So generally that leads to a good starting point for a season.
Just curious that they're talking about potentially extending the NCAA tournament to more teams. I talked to a bunch of coaches at ACC Media Days. I feel like every coach is saying, hey, let's do it, because they can get a chance to get to the big dance. Where do you stand on that?
I think we should add more teams, as long as it doesn't mean we're adding more teams with losing records from Power 4 conferences.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, where's the threshold, though? So, like, I'm with you on that, but where would you turn it off as far as, they've talked potential? I know that they're, like, right now 72 or 76, but I've even heard 96 before. Is there a point where you would say, what are we doing? Are we devaluing the regular season, perhaps?
Listen, I think it's good for coaches the more teams that get in, because coaches get fired for not making it.
Yeah.
So the more that make it, the more stability there may be in coaching. Now what happens once you're in is a whole different story. It takes a little bit of luck, a little bit of magic to win in the tournament. So I'm for expanding the field. I think that's a good thing. Give more teams an opportunity to play in it. And sometimes you don't play your best basketball to the end of the year. Maybe you stumble during the year, but you're a darn good team at the end of the year. And so let's give the best team at the end of the year a chance to win the whole thing.
Coach, you got a chance to already play scrimmage against UCLA. Coming out of that game, expectations versus the reality. What do you think?
Well, I know the fans weren't happy because they stand up and clap until we score our first basket, and we went 8 minutes without a point. So I know the fan base didn't like it, but I liked it. I thought we played good, a good second half. 3/4 of the game we played solid basketball against a very good UCLA team. So I think both teams got what they wanted out of the scrimmage. It was highly competitive, it was physical, both teams are defensive minded, and so everything was hard, and so it gave us a good baseline for where we are and where we need to go.
You played a lot of guys in that game. Did you figure out your rotations a little bit more, who the starters are going to be, first guys off the bench, that sort of thing?
We played 12 guys, and I told them even against UCLA that when we played USD in our second scrimmage, I was going to start some different players and try to give everybody opportunity to start, come off the bench. and then I'll have a better idea what the rotation looks like leading into the season.
Tay and Elsie, your freshmen, they look pretty good out there. They didn't look intimidated. What are your thoughts on their play?
No, Tay is extremely strong and physical, so he can match that part of his game as a freshman. And LZ is a high IQ player with great talent. So both of them fit in right away. And so I'll have some tough decisions to make when it comes down to a rotation.
And Reese got his first game play since 2 seasons. What are you seeing from him and his progression?
Yeah, when Reese stepped out for the first time in a year and put 19 up, I think we know why he was a first-team all-conference preseason player a year ago. He's what we all knew he would be, a gifted, talented player that is ready for his moment, and hopefully it will be this year.
What do you see from the guys who got time last year who are getting more time this year? Farrow and BJ, Miles, what did you see from them in that first game and your expectations for them this year?
Just that they're more consistent. They're growing as players. Maturity helps. Experience helps. And they gained both of those last year, and they're gaining more in practice and going into this season.
And Farrow with the free throw line, people saw him go to the free throw line. He wasn't very good last year. He swished those two. I think the crowd a little surprised. Did he work on that specifically this season?
The kids always work on every part of their game. And like I said, they've all gotten better individually. Now I have to find a way to get them better as a team.
How is it seeing Coach Olin in the conference now? Are you sitting there saying, hey, oh gosh, this guy's going to have a great team. We're going to go up against him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Eric's a really good coach. And, we played him 3 years in a row at UCSD. And
I remember those.
Yeah, 2 years ago, Ladie tipping at the buzzer to win a game that they had in hand. And last year, a close game against a good team that made it to the NCAA tournament and won their conference. And so Eric's a very good coach. And so he'll get New Mexico playing good basketball again. But like you said, he replaced the whole roster. So none of us can control the timeline. I know he's a good coach. I know they'll play good basketball. But it's the timeline it takes to do that.
In this era, what's been your keys to keep your team together, continuity-wise, with the transfer portal and NIL?
Yeah, I think we kept 80% of our roster. We lost one guy that could have returned that didn't, and I'd like to beat my chest and say it's culture. But a year from now, when everyone leaves, they're going to say, "What happened to your culture?" It's just the nature of the game. Sometimes they leave, sometimes they come back, but they come back for a reason because I think they feel valued. They feel like they're getting better. They feel like they're getting a good education. They're not being lied to. They're being taught and led, and they value those things. So they're willing to turn down some money in order to have those experiences. So I take great pride in that.
Coach, can you go back to when you heard from Magoon and Miles that they were both coming back to those moments, and just kind of take us there? And did your mind start spinning for the season, how excited you were?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I told them both I couldn't wait. I had to go out and find players to replace them. That's why we have probably too deep a roster, because I couldn't wait for them to make their decisions. So I said, go in the portal, take a look. If you want to come back, I'd love to have you back, but I have to go out and find somebody. Bird, the same thing. Look at the draft. He had a good combine. These are things I can't control. Talk to the teams. Your agent will let you know if he feels he's got a deal for you if you're drafted in the second round that's worth going. And it ended up they didn't hear what they wanted to hear, even though Bird, I think, would have been drafted in the second round. He didn't have anything guaranteed, so he thought it was his best interest to come back. So I added good players, and then I had those two come back, which leads to great expectations and great talent. So we're excited to have them back.
Do you feel this is your deepest team since the run to the NCAA final?
Oh, it's definitely my deepest team. I have a lot of talent and a lot of depth. Now they have to accept whatever roles they're put in, and that's the hardest part. The key to being a great player is managing frustration, and I'll have players that are frustrated this year, whether it's their minutes, their points, but if we can all pull in the same direction and say we're all here this year, let's embrace it, let's try to do our best to win games, and if we win, all our boats will rise, including mine and yours. So find a way to win, and we'll bring value to what we do.
I know you just received a significant NIL gift from a partner, I believe, I can't remember the sunglass company. Talk about just what that means to you as the coach in the program, San Diego State, just kind of how excited you are to kind of keep that going. Yeah,
Chase Fisher, who started Blender Sunglasses in San Diego, gave us a $5 million pledge, $1 million a year for over 5 years. And it's significant for us. It's significant for anybody. But when it comes to revenue sharing, we're not the Big Ten. We're not starting with a $70 million TV deal where we can actually share revenue with the students. The revenue we share is the revenue we still continue to raise as a basketball program. And so Chase's commitment to San Diego State basketball is significant and will make a difference.
Is there a target as far as the revenue sharing that you guys would like to get to as far as basketball to be competitive this year and then in the Pac-12?
I mean, if revenue sharing holds, most common sense means basketball programs will have between $4 and $5 million. I'm not seeing that recruiting right now. There are programs pledging $1.6, $2 million over 2 years to freshmen. Well, that's a quarter of their budget, so obviously they don't feel whatever this revenue sharing is going to hold. They feel they're still dealing on an unlimited salary cap. So it'll be interesting to see where the rubber hits the road and who's going to be right in this, whether it's actually somewhat controlled or whether it's still the wild, wild west where people can spend whatever money they want to spend.
How do you see it playing out in a conference with Gonzaga, just given that they don't have to share with football and every other school in the league will have to? Does that put them at a pretty significant advantage, do you think, with revenue sharing?
I mean, if you look at us, we could be at the same advantage because Aztec football is very good this year. They're 5-1, but they're not dealing with a $15 million budget where they restrict us. Say they're operating at $3 million, $4 million. That still leaves us a $20 million cap. If I could find someone to give Aztec basketball this year $12 million, I'd have more than the Power Fives. But I don't have that right now because I'm out raising it. So it's the Big East. The Big East has no football. So St. John's in Connecticut, they might be dealing with $8, $9, $10 million budgets where the Power Fives are dealing with 5. So it's a different world, and it's all going to settle in eventually. Eventually there'll be donor fatigue where these people are going to go, you're coming back to me every year for this amount of money and you're not moving the needle? Why am I investing in this? So at some level there'll be some fatigue in NIL from the givers that are giving this money. There'll be certain programs that can maintain it, but some of these programs that are giving a lot of money now won't be able to maintain it over the long run.
Your thoughts on G League players now going from G League back to college?
They're making more money. Why wouldn't they if they're allowed to? So it is what it is. I mean, let's not lose sight of this. We have a responsibility to help these kids get degrees. So when that money runs dry, that they have something to fall back on. We're college athletics, okay? So if we let them transfer every year, 4 straight years, although haven't been doing this a whole lifetime, we know those credits aren't all transferring, and they're not going to get a degree. We owe them our commitment to help them get a degree. So some people say, well, they want 5 years because they want to make 5 years worth of money. If we have to give them 5 years to get them a degree, let's give them 5 years. We have a responsibility to get these kids degrees. We're not professional sports, even though some people want to act like that. We have a commitment to educate these kids to make sure they get degrees when they leave our universities, whether they transfer once, twice, or 3 times. We have to find a way to get them a degree.
Coach, I cover the Lopes, and Sean Newman absolutely last year controlled the game, kind of beat us into the ground. I think he had 26-9 or something like that. Can you talk about Sean Newman and what he might be able to bring to your team, kind of getting the ball to everybody in their spots?
Yeah, Sean's a very good player, but he's making the adjustment. He's in a new program. He's playing against bigger, stronger players every day in practice. He's making the adjustment. So it seems Sean is just starting to hit stride to me. It wasn't come in and easy sailing. So Sean is putting his work in every day. He's getting beat down physically like all our players are going against each other. But Sean seems to have turned the corner, is getting more comfortable with being on the floor with the Aztecs.
You are notoriously known for scheduling really tough in non-con. That's been who you are, been really adamant about it. Can you just kind of reinforce why that is and what you hope to accomplish from your non-con this year?
I think we have 3 chances to make the NCAA tournament. One of them is by winning in the non-conference, playing a schedule where you beat Houston and Creighton a year ago and you barely make the first 4 in. So if we don't have those wins, we don't make it. Those wins were critical to us being in the tournament. So if we play a Michigan or Arizona or an Oregon, we're all on the schedule, if we can beat a team or 2, then we have a strong chance of being in the NCAA tournament. Already put ourselves in a position in November to being in it. If we don't win those games, then we're not going to be punished for that. But now we have to have an extremely strong regular Mountain West Conference schedule. And if we don't have that, then we have to win 3 games or 4 games in the conference tournament. So we're trying to schedule ourselves into the NCAA tournament in November if we can win those games.
Speaking of non-con, when the leagues do split next year, are you going to try to maintain any of the rivalries you may have built from the Mountain West in your non-con schedule?
You know, I like playing at non-altitude sites. Everybody knows that. It has nothing to do with the schools. But I'm not looking to go to Laramie or Albuquerque and play at 7,000 feet. I know what that is. I've done it for 26 years. So Vegas or someone at sea level has got a better chance of scheduling me than me picking a one-off game to go play at altitude. Good? Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks,
Good luck
Coach.
this year.
Yep.